Hi, everybody. My name is Sonia Varela. I'm one of the presenters for this workshop. We're just going to test out our participant icon. If you click on the participant panel, you should see yes, no, go slower, go faster. Push yes if you can hear me right now. Click yes. Okay, good. People can hear me. Numbers are climbing.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, great. Thanks. You can stop clicking. I'm going to clear the answers on our end. Okay, so welcome everybody. So this is welcome to Finance Fundamentals for MemberHub. My name is Sonia Varela. I'm Genesee Valley Region Director. I've been using MemberHub pretty much since it launched in New York State for a variety of elementary, middle school units at the region level as well. I'm now in my second year as Region Director. So I want to welcome everybody today, and so I'm going to cover the first part, but first just wanted to go over some housekeeping. All attendees are going to be muted, that just is so we can keep the recording clean. This workshop is being recorded, and a PDF of slides and the workshop recording is going to be available on the New York State PTA website after the event. Use chat if you have questions, and we will try to get to them at the end. And be prepared to participate again using those yes, no icons in the participant panel. So we're going to be using those. Okay, so items that we're going to cover is where is your MemberHub store, how to set up a WePay account, an annual setup for new treasurers, and how to sell various items in your MemberHub store, including membership dues, how to create custom bundles, memberships, donations, and other items. And then our illustrious New York State PTA Treasurer, Patty Frazier, is going to cover how to remit dues to New York State PTA. So where is your MemberHub store? So first of all, yes, no question. How many people have your MemberHub store set up right now? Okay, right now I see a lot of people that don't have it set up. So I see more no's than yeses right now. Okay, so your MemberHub store is on your MemberHub site. I'm going to clear those answers. Thanks everybody for participating. Is in your site, and you're going to find it here under a couple different ways. Either the admin console, and then you click here under Store Admin, or there is a separate Store Admin button up here in orange. So that's where you would find it on your MemberHub site. Okay, things that you can sell in your MemberHub store include memberships. You could also have donations. You could also sell other items that you may be selling, like spiritware items, or ticket to a fun night, or some other, pre-sale events that you want to sell. So all those items can be sold in your MemberHub store, and then you accept for online payments. So the MemberHub store does not currently accommodate any offline payments. So to use your MemberHub store, people would have to pay online using a credit card, and then you would get the orders from there. Okay, so the first thing you need to do in order to be able to sell any items on your MemberHub store is set up a WePay account. WePay is the payment processor for MemberHub. Like Square or like PayPal would be another, payment processor. So MemberHub is currently using WePay. If you haven't set up your merchant processing agreement yet, you would need to do that. Again, you would go under your admin console and then click here under Money. And then there would be, or Store, and then there would be an option for a merchant processing agreement. And then you would click on this button here to register for a WePay account. So WePay is a Chase Bank owned company, and they are sort of a third party that does the payment processing. All the payments that you take through MemberHub are automatically routed to your PTA checking account. When you set up your PTA store, you determine when you set up your WePay account what frequency you want deposits. I think they give you options of daily, weekly, or monthly. My personal recommendation would be to use weekly, because daily is just a little bit too much activity in the bank account, right? That would be a little bit hard to keep track of. Monthly, you may be collecting funds for an event that you need to pay a vendor for. So weekly is sort of a happy medium. And generally with the weekly deposits, they tend to come on Mondays. So you would get a deposit on Monday for any activity that took place the previous week. There is a processing fee. WePay and MemberHub fees are 3.5% plus 50 cents per credit card payment. You decide when you set up the store. Again, this would be a conversation with your officers, whether you absorb that fee as a PTA or whether you pass that fee on to the payer. So for example, most units, I think, choose to pass that on, because that way, if you're selling memberships for $10, they're going to get charged $10.85, but you still get the full $10 of the item that you're selling, of the dues. So you are made whole in the amount that you're doing, and people are paying a convenience charge to pay online. So there is a convenience fee for the online payments, but in today's day and age, I'm finding that parents are usually more than willing to pay for that, just for the convenience of being able to do it online. So I put this slide in here because there's a lot of conversation when you set up WePay accounts. So WePay is sort of like a bank. When you go to a bank and you open up a bank account, they are required to ask for your Social Security number. So when you set up your WePay account, they will be asking somebody to put in the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. And that is for identification purposes only, as part of the Know Your Customer process. This is a federal law that came into effect after 9/11, so they had to validate that everybody is a known person. And they're only asking for the last 4 digits, and they only use it for verification purposes. So they match the last 4 digits of your Social Security number with your legal name that you put in, your first and last name, legal name, and they just use that for verification purposes. MemberHub doesn't keep that information. It's not used for any other purpose. It's like a one and done kind of thing. So you do need to make sure that you fill in that information, and it is required in order to set up a WePay account. And your WePay account would be set up typically by your treasurer or by your president, but it must be done by somebody that is a current signer on the bank account. Okay, so once you have that set up, then you get this lovely congratulations, your WePay merchant account is active. And this has some other information you can see on the screen. Again, you're going to be getting a copy of this at the end of the presentation. So you can see they give you some pointers as to what fields to fill out and how to fill them out. So MemberHub is, they want you to complete this form, so they tend to make it as easy as possible for us. Okay, so at the end of the year, you've got maybe a new treasurer, you've got maybe somebody else's email address, you need to change the email address. So there is a procedure for how to change the WePay owner email address on the WePay account. So that way you make sure that next year's treasurer can be able to get the notices of when deposits are made into the bank account. So this is the procedure. And again, you don't have to write this down. You're going to get these slides after the presentation. So if the original account owner and the new account owner do not share the same email address, then the original account owner first has to go in and update the email address. So this would be the outgoing person needs to put in the email address of the incoming person. So you need to make sure that that happens before they, totally dissolve themselves of all responsibility as part of finishing well, right? So the new person or the old person, would need to log into WePay, and then they would need to go in and they would need to change the owner email address, use the edit button, and then type in the new email address and change them as an owner, which will then send a verification to the new email address that they are now listed as the new owner email address. So this is sort of what that looks like in WePay. So when you get into your WePay account, you would click here under security, and then you would go over here to edit, because you want to edit the owner details. Then the new person is going to get an email, and they're going to need to confirm their email. So they're going to get an email. It's going to look kind of like this, and they're going to need to click on the blue button that says confirm my email. Now, let's say this goes for whether or not maybe you have your WePay account set up as a treasurer at, you know, schoolpta.org. Maybe the email address is not changing, but you still need to make sure that the know your customer information and the owner information matches the current signer on the bank account. So if you're not changing email addresses, but you are changing treasurers, then you would need to skip to this change MPA ownership, which is done when you are in MemberHub. So this is in MemberHub under the store admin. There's a section under the admin console that you would click on. You would go to admin, store admin, and then merchant processing agreement. And then because you've already got the agreement set up, you're going to see this screen that you would click on change MPA ownership. How many of you guys out there using yes, no buttons, how many of you guys out there have ever done this before as far as changing the owner of your WePay account? Okay, I'm seeing almost all no's. Okay. Yeah, it's very important. Okay, so far it's like 20-1, and the no's have it. Okay. So, and I see one person's asking me to go slower. Okay, I'm gonna clear that. Just so you guys know, all of these slides, all of the content on these slides, I actually pulled from the MemberHub Support page. So I'm gonna type in the chat right now, just so you guys have it. If you go to support.memberhub.com, if you type in any of these questions on like changing treasurers, WePay account, they're gonna give you all of the information. So, okay. Okay, so then what you would do is so when you click on that change MPA ownership, then you would type in the new person's first and last name and the WePay owner email account in the pop-up, and then click on submit. And then that person's gonna get a confirmation email that they have to confirm the terms of service. And then they'll also be getting an email from WePay to complete the KYC process, which puts in your first and last name and your last 4 digits of your social security number. Again, remember, consider this like you're replacing somebody else as a signer on the bank account. That's what this changing of the WePay account owner system does, is you're sort of changing the signer on the bank account. So it's, again, if you're a signer on the bank account, then you should be listed as the owner on the WePay account. Okay, membership items in store. So everybody, when your site was set up, your membership items, as they're listed in your bylaws, are already set up as being in your store. They may just be hidden. So you have the option of selling individual membership as they're listed in your bylaws, the standard membership, additional family membership, student membership, teacher staff memberships. If any of those amounts vary, then you're going to have separate items in your store, and those match the prices listed in your bylaws. Sometimes members may have listed in their bylaws that their dues are $5, but in actuality, they may want to offer, or they may, I'll give you an example for my unit. Standard members is $6. Additional family members are $4. But I often create a custom bundled membership that is a 2-parent membership for $10. So that way people only have to click on one button rather than knowing, am I clicking a standard? Am I clicking additional family? You know, sometimes parents or other members may not be aware of the terminology as much as we are as officers. So that's one of the advantages of custom bundled memberships. You could also say, if you know, you could have different levels of membership. You have a diamond level membership that includes, you know, two memberships, a donation of $50, and they get a mug, you know, for free. So you could include that as sort of an example of a custom bundled membership. When you create a new custom bundled membership, you are deciding upfront what the memberships are that are included with that bundled item. So you would be indicating, okay, so this, you know, this bundle includes a standard member at $6. This bundle includes another additional family member at $4. So you're deciding up front how many members are listed, and then it's going to prompt them when they purchase that item to put in the membership information for that number of people. This helps take some of the question from a practice that a lot of units I know did, where they would offer family memberships, but they would only be actually selling them one membership, but they would be selling it as a family membership. And we know for New York State PTA, every membership has to have a name attached to it. So this bundled membership helps to be the ease of a family membership. And then you decide setting it up, okay, does that automatically assume that it's 2 people or it's 3 people? And you're saying if they buy this item, they're paying and they're going to be listed as 2 members, or they're buying it and they're going to be listed as 3 members. So that's what bundled memberships do. You can also do donation items in your store. And I highly, highly, highly recommend putting a donation item in your store. Because you never know, right? People may purchase memberships online and they may throw you, I'm already online, I've got my credit card out. I've had several people just, they throw in a donation for $10, $20, $30, just on their own. So you can definitely add a donation item. And one of the things that MemberHub lets you do is you can set it to be sort of a make your own price. So when you set it up, instead of entering a price, you can click the box to allow a shopper to enter a custom price. And then you could list like what the minimum would be. So, you know, this example, it has a minimum listed as $1. You could definitely set a minimum at $5 if you wanted $5 to be the minimum donation price. And then if somebody wanted to make it $5 or make it any amount over that, they would be able to replace that dollar amount. As you see down here, they would be able to list that dollar, put that dollar, choose the dollar amount for themselves, and then click add to cart. Other items, you could go here to store admin and you would be able to add other items. So you would be able to add, like this would be like, this example shows some spirit wares. It shows like a fundraising card. It shows a donation for playground equipment. If you had spirit where you wanted to sell, you know, anything like that, you could do that here. So you just click on new item in the top right. So here you see my little pointer up here at the top. So I'm in the store dashboard, store admin dashboard. You just click on new item, and then you would just enter all the required information, name, short description, long description, price, when the item is available. This is going to be the key that I want. I'm putting blinking lights. If you see my hands, I'm putting blinking lights right now. When the item is available, you want to make sure that that date is accurate. What I'm seeing a lot of stores right now at the region level, some stores are showing that they're not available. And it's not because they have anything wrong on their WePay account. It's because their membership dues and every item currently in their store was set to expire on like June 30th. So now it's August 1st. And because it's past June 30th, because it's past that date of when the item is available and the item is no longer available, because that date is now out of being current, items are automatically taken off the store. So you always want to make sure that those dates, like for your membership dues, I would just make it, you know, 2036, you know, let's make it June of 2036. So that way it never gets hidden from the store and it's always available for the next 16 years at least. You can choose if you want things to be in different categories. So like if you wanted to have a category for spiritware, or you wanted to have a category for, you know, tickets, people would be able to get to different sections quicker. So they could just click here under categories on the store. They would be able to go right to membership. They would be able to go right to donations. They'd be able to click right to spiritware. And you can also add images to all of your store items. You can click on different items if it has sizes or has colors, and be able to add custom information that you need for those kinds of things. Choose the school year that you want the item to be listed in, and then you would create the new item. So here are some platform limitations. Item options cannot have different costs in this platform. So for example, if you're selling spiritware and you want to sell, and you know your vendor's telling you that an adult sweatshirt size XXL has an additional cost of $2 than the regular price, then you would need to create a separate item for that adult XXL size, and then you would list whatever colors, you know, for that size. But it needs to be listed as a separate item because there's no way for it to be listed all under one item. It would have to be every single item that is a different price has to be listed as a separate item. Also, in this current platform of the MemberHub Store, items cannot be inventory limited. So it's best for pre-orders. There's no way to say, I only have 5 of these and I want them to show a sellout when the 5 are sold. There's no way to do that in this platform. So it's best for pre-orders or items that you are, that you have a lot of that you're not worrying about running out of. And lastly, you may have seen some pop-ups or other communication from MemberHub regarding upgrading your store to a 2.0 platform. And that is currently not available to New York State PTA units. So as some of you may have seen communication, because MemberHub has been very good about communicating that upgrade. And they're like, oh, upgrade your store to 2.0 and you can track your inventory and you can do all that. That is currently not available for New York State PTA units. So we will look forward to that being available to us in the future, but it's not available currently. So we are currently using this original store platform. After your order is placed, you will get an email from WePay when deposits are made into your bank account. So then people would need to go into this orders. Again, this is part of your store dashboard. Go into the order section and you're gonna see all of the individual orders that come in on your MemberHub store. You can export this report into a CSV. You could click on any of these hyperlinks that would give you detail. And it would give you detail about the order.
I'll pick you up around.
Okay. And with this, I'm going to stop what I'm doing because I finished my section and I'm going to leave it to Patty Frazier.
If I click that button. So Sonia, first I want to thank you. We have a couple questions. Do you think you have time to answer those couple of questions before you go? That came into the chat box? You're going to stay till then? Okay. All right. So let's get Patty organized here. So I'm going to start sharing the screen now for my part. Okay. Okay. Am I there? All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this workshop. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the actual part of our MemberHub sites where we are paying our dues to New York State PTA. This is, we're going to talk a little bit about WePay, but it's a separate part of WePay than you would be experiencing with your merchant processing agreement that allows you to collect the dues and operate your store. So I'm going to say I'm somewhat of a low-tech person rather than a high-tech person, for lack of a better word. And my time at a unit PTA was before we launched into MemberHub. But I have assisted a couple of units with MemberHub, and I have actually done this part of the process. And so I'm happy to say that hopefully in our conversation today, when we're finished, recognizing that I'm a low-tech person, I have been very comfortable following the instructions from MemberHub to get this done, this part of paying dues to New York State. I have to say I've successfully done it twice, so I'm quite proud of myself. So first off, we're going to talk about the state dues payments for memberships. They are payable directly to New York State, and they do go via an e-check. So we are no longer, for the most part, accepting unit checks at the New York State level for membership. This is our preferred process. We are providing MemberHub as a service to all of our units across the state. There are some fees involved that the New York State PTA covers those fees, and we're offering it as a platform for you to use as much as you want, but there is a little that we would like you to use, and the little that we would like you to use at least is this e-check and paying your dues this way. So you're going to be paying directly through the e-check, and it is processed through the ACH, which is the clearinghouse. So that's a pretty common method of doing electronic payments. So this process is supported by WePay again, but it is not connected to the merchant processing account part of WePay. I will say that when you are doing your payments to the state, there will be a $1 transaction fee to have that check go to the state. So again, in the beginning, when you're paying for your large, opening membership drive a dollar based on what it would cost you, again, to process a stamp, an envelope, and get the check to the mail and get it to New York State in a timely way. $1 seems to be about the equivalent of what you would be doing. As you go forward, well, New York State would like your payments on a monthly basis. Please, if you only have 1 or 2 members, you can wait till the very end of the year and just make one final payment so that you're not paying $1 to send $4. So just use your judgment for that. But again, we want everyone to be aware that that dollar will be part of your fees. Okay, so let's get started. Number one, the most important thing is only the current president or treasurer can remit the state dues, and you must be an authorized signer. So what's going to happen is when you sign on to your MemberHub account, and this happens to be one of my favorite, the best School 6 PTA, you'll click on your store on your admin console, and then it will immediately pop up to your officers. And so you can see I'm happily, the treasurer of the best number 6 PTA, along with Angela and Tina. There are the other officers. So we're the officers. So once we see that we're on there properly, that we are listed for 2020, 2021, president and treasurer, we know that we're set to be able to make those payments. So that's your number one thing. Let's make sure that we have everything updated there and properly. And we should have a little star after our names to show that we are actually members as well, but that will come in time. Okay, so once you're logged on and you're on the admin console, I also want you to check the email address. So the email address here, I have my one of my personal email addresses that's sort of like for PTA. As you can see, I can include PTA in the name. Make sure that this is the one that you log on to MemberHub with. I know that I have a couple of different logons to MemberHub from various other sources, but as far as for this site, because I'm going to be making payments, I have to make sure that that one matches. So from here, the next thing that you want to do is click on state payments, and you'll see that on the choices to the right of the various things that you can do. So the last one at the bottom, click on state payments, and this is what will come up, this wonderful screen about paying dues to New York State. A lot going on in this page, but what we're really looking for now is, of course, the reminder that in the first circle that we have to be the treasurer or the president to make the payments. We've already covered that. And then the yellow box will be telling us how much that we owe at this time. And that's a good way for you to be looking at the idea of how many members have I accumulated, is it worth my dollar to send the payment in. Underneath this part of the red circle, you can't see it right here, but there's a little thing that a click box that you can check in, and you can see which members, the actual members that you owe for. So in case, you want to just see that it was the latest people that your person entered, your membership share entered, that's who you have to pay for there. So what you're going to do now is you're going to click on, when you're ready to make a payment, you're going to click on this blue box that says send payment via the e-check, okay? And that box will open up and it will give you 2 options. So here we're going to go to paying dues to New York State. So what's going to happen is this box will open up and you'll have 2 options to check there. And of course, they're going to remind you once again about the dollar, and they're going to cover what's in the yellow box. You owe for 17 members or however, and $68, and it's going to be an additional $1. So you want to understand what you're doing. Yes, I want to send the payment, click that box, and then you'll click the please save my bank account in WePay there, okay? And then you're going to go ahead and click the send payment to New York State PTA. Even though you're not set up already, you're still going to click this box. Now, if by chance you do click on send payment and this box opens up and only the first set of information there to check off pops up, that means that your bank account is already registered through the WePay and into the e-check system. So that must have been previously done by somebody else, so that you can go ahead and you'll receive your confirmation right away for your payment, and you have to take no further action. But if you don't have it already saved, you'll have to go ahead and set up your bank account. Now, sometimes there's a little glitch in the system and we have it marked down here. Sometimes you'll check both of the boxes and then you'll click the send payment button is not blue. It's not live for some reason. It's a little glitch that happens sometimes. They're just asking if you uncheck the top box and recheck it. MemberHub, somehow it will magically then recognize it and make that send payment to New York State box live again. So once you click that, we're going to move on to the two options that will become available to you. So after you click on the send payment, a WePay box will pop up so you can begin the process of setting up your saving account, of saving your bank account information, sorry. And there's going to be two options. If you have access to online banking, you have the option to do an instant connection using your login to that online banking. If you don't, you have the option to also do it manually. I've done it manually. It's a little bit time consuming, but it works effectively. So either one will work for you. There is no hard deadlines for paying your membership to New York State that you know, if you don't have the, instant connection and you need to take a little bit of time to do the manual, it's okay. Your payment will get there unless you're in a hurry to get a deadline for an award, and then you might, will have to deal with it as it comes along. So anyway, for the instant connection, this is going to be option one if you can make the instant connection, which means when you click continue, okay, this is the first box, sorry. This first box will pop up and it just explains it's WePay and how they use Plaid to link to your bank account. That's their system that they use. You're going to go to that and then you're going to click continue. And then you're going to see this box pop up, the one that I have in the middle, with the various banks listed. If you see your bank there, great, click on it and it will take you to box 3. If you don't see your bank, you'll see at the bottom, it's really font there that maybe you can't see, but again, you'll see this if you go to the MemberHub Support page or you actually do the run through on your MemberHub site, that you'll have to enter it manually. And one of the things that they will say is don't use special characters when you enter your bank name. So for instance, a very popular bank across New York State is M&T Bank, and you can't put the ampersand, you have to write out the and. And then once you do that and you have your bank account set, they're going to ask you for some verification. It's the same verification you use to check your bank account online. It's your username and your password. And then you will, once you submit that, it will ask you, you might have several bank accounts. So some units have a savings account and a checking account. So it's going to ask you which one you want to use to remit your payments. They may also ask you to verify some other information, if you have a 2-step process, and they might ask you, whatever your secret code questions are. And so you should have that available to you to use and to enter. So that's going to be the easiest way if you have online banking. I do know, I have to say, I had to enter manually only because we have an account with one of our local units that they do not allow us online banking. So we have gone to the manual. So choosing the account, this is, again, finalizing the option 1 of instant connection. So you choose the account, again, verify the information, you're all set. You're good to go. And you can continue making your payments, and we hope they're large and many throughout the year. So let's go to option 2. Option 2 is the manual entry. It starts with the same screen, again, about Plaid, but here at the bottom, you will select, rather than the continue box to do online, you will click on manual entry, and here you will enter your bank account information. And here under full name, when you get to that, they are asking for the name of your PTA as you are identified with from New York State. Please double check that in MemberHub. I know sometimes we tend to shorten our names, or over the years our names have changed. I know we've had a lot of PTAs that have added an S to their name because they want to be a PTSA, but they haven't officially done it. So you really need to use the name of your PTA that appears on MemberHub, that appears on the cover of your bylaws. We'll enter the email address for the person that's going to be managing this, usually the treasurer. The bank name with the same specification of not using special characters in the bank name. And then here you'll put in the routing guide and your account number that you want to use to have the money come from. And you'll confirm that. And then you have to confirm whether it's a checking or savings account. And once you have all of that, once you fill out all of this, this will become live. This button at the bottom, that the Authorize Account button will become live. Just as another aside, as you're filling out each one of these fields, you will get a green check mark to show that, you know, the system is accepting the entry that you placed there. So look for those green check boxes as you do it. So once you do that and click the Authorize Account, oh, I'm sorry, I made a screen for it and I'm just like reading it off myself. Oh. So anyway, so when you get the PowerPoint, you'll see that there's a screen, a slide that shows you all of the things that I just said, and here is a little bit bigger, the Authorize Account button. So what's going to happen after you hit Authorize Account is WePay is going to make 2 small micro deposits, as they're called, under $1 into your bank account, which you will need to confirm before your payment is released to New York State. So that's kind of your verification system, these 2 small micro deposits. Now, if you can access your account online for whatever reason, but you didn't want to use option 1, you can just look online and watch your account to see those micro deposits showing on your account. If not, you may have to go directly to the bank. Some people have the option to call into their bank. If you can do that, that's fine too. So it'll take about 1 to 2 business days to get those micro deposits, and you will also receive an email from MemberHub, and the MemberHub will confirm that they're making the micro deposits, and you'll look for them. And once you get them, then you on this email, there's an option here when they arrive, you confirm your bank account by clicking here. And once you click there, you will get something that looks like this. Click the link in the email, and in this pink box in the middle, it's a little bit pinkish, orangish, whatever shows up best on your screen. You can enter the 2 micro deposits there. Click the verify, and then it will confirm the payment that you're sending in with the $1 fee. And you, again, like the other option, you are all set. So you will always be able to confirm back on your state payment screen on your MemberHub site that payments have been sent, or your history of payments can also be checked. So you can see a list of all the payments you made, just so you don't, chances are you're not going to be able to duplicate a payment because that box is there, the yellow box that we talked about that says how much you owe. So once they receive your payment, that box goes away. So we have had very few instances where things have maybe crossed in the mail, so to speak, or crossed in the electronic world. But for the most part, it's pretty hard to double pay through the system, but that's not to say it hasn't happened. So your state payment history is also something that you can provide, you can print and provide to your membership chair so they can keep track of what they've been doing because they'll have to make a report. You can also put one, it's just, you should have as treasurer, the treasurer should have like an expense voucher, just like they would fill out, you know, an expense voucher to say, oh, we paid, you know, $10 to, you know, the local grocery store to buy water for our meeting. With a receipt attached, you do the same thing here. We paid New York State our membership dues of $4 per member, and we'll attach the information from the state payment history to that, so that, again, if you're at a meeting and you don't have access to a laptop or electronic, you can prove to your members and show that you have proof that membership has been paid. Membership is important to pay because it's what keeps you in good standing. So if you have changed your bank account since last year, or somewhere midstream to your year, you can go ahead and change the bank account information. There will be a link for that below the send payment box to remove your existing saved bank account information before you send your payment, and then you can set up your new account the same way, you know, the same process. If you owe for dues and there's no link, your unit doesn't have a saved bank account information on file. So that's something that you should rectify quickly. So let me just see if I can scroll back up to the slide here. Here's your state payment history box, and then, shoot, Sonia, help me out. I thought that I could find the new bank account one on there.
When they set it up the first time.
Right, and then there's one if you want to change your bank account.
They can check it on the support.
Right, so again, Right. So again, Sonia is very experienced using MemberHub. I'm, again, the low tech using MemberHub, but both of us have found that even no matter how involved we are or not involved, the MemberHub support pages are really excellent. And they also offer support where you can open up a conversation with them and they will, work with you either sometimes live conversation, or you can set up like a live conversation, or they'll do it back and forth in an email to help you out. And I have had to access them again because of special characters, because with my best school 6, because we have 2 special characters, we kind of got in, we had some glitches there. So I have worked with them to rectify our problems, and they have been very attentive and very helpful. So we highly recommend that. But we are also here to help too. I think, being able to walk through these together, one-on-one, you're on your end at your computer and we're at our computer, or we're going through the steps, we're more than happy to help with that through New York State PTA. We do have somebody in our office at New York State PTA who also is a MemberHub contact and is very familiar with the system. And so Dana Welch in the office, our membership and insurance manager, is also another resource for you. Our emails are at the end. I'm doing that, Fox, right? Yeah. Our emails are at the end here, as well as the information that we typed in earlier for the MemberHub support. And with that, I am going to close out my part of the presentation, and we have 5 minutes for questions. So I know I see Sonia, we're in the same room, but equally we are socially distanced across the room with our help from Rob, who's also socially distanced the other direction from me. We've been trying to answer some of the chats as we go along, questions that are specific to individuals.
I do want to answer one question.
Go ahead, you're on.
Okay, so I do want to answer one question that somebody listed about for using the MemberHub Store for events versus another platform like ChatterUp. ChatterUp is another New York State PTA partner. I will say from personal experience, my personal unit experience, I will say that if you have items like an event that has a closed inventory amount, or that you want to be able to have one method for doing online and offline payments, ChatterUp is a great platform to use. That's what it's made for. The one thing that I would say, and even if you're using something else, another platform for whatever other store purchases, maybe you've got something that integrates with your account system, using MemberHub for your membership dues will alleviate for somebody having into your membership section. It alleviates membership dues when they're purchased through the store, that record gets generated person,
and then when the dues are paid, it completes the process for the membership.
So anyway, so it's if you can do at least your membership dues through the MemberHub Store, that is what I would strongly advocate for. If you have other items that you want to sell through ChatterUp or through another platform, you can feel free to do that.
All right, Sonia, we're gonna let you sign off.
Okay.
Do you have another question that you wanted?
Nope. Sorry, guys. I gotta sign off because I actually am doing another MemberHub workshop on another strand. So thanks, everybody.
You don't want to listen to me again. Okay. I am gonna close this back. So am I?
Thank you. Okay, so somebody wave and say they can hear me, because, I'm, okay, are we good? Okay, so I'm gonna look at some of the questions that we have here. I'm gonna try to answer as many as I can. Can we use another platform like Venmo if it is linked directly to our account? So we are working on actually a state procedure to put out a recommendation to our units about the use of things like Venmo, Cash App, and that type of thing. What we have to be cautious about Venmo specifically is Venmo is not set up for nonprofits. So Venmo is really set up for personal use. So there is no way for you to link your PTA to Venmo, your PTA account. It is supposed to go to a private person. So we are not recommending Venmo. We are not recommending the use of apps for most of our units. Again, this would be a unit decision that we would really strongly suggest that the executive committee really investigate the use of things that are non-traditional checks. You know, the electronic check going to New York State, we're fine because we know it only can go to New York State. It can't be diverted in any way. So it's a matter of, and I always stress this in my treasurer workshops, it's a matter of quote unquote the maturity of your unit. And I liken it to your child who's young adult child who's going off to college. Do they have the maturity to have a credit card? Do they understand all of the ramifications of having a credit card? Does your unit understand the ramifications of using these types of processing methods for your PTA funds? Remember, you are responsible to all of your members to be transparent, to know where all the money is and what's happening with it at all times. So some of these platforms, which our insurance company is fully supportive of the use of Venmo, and I want to make that clear, and things like that, but we just feel like for our guidelines in New York State PTA, the Venmo platform, because you can't link your nonprofit PTA bank account to it, may not be the best option for you. But other options might be out there that could work for you. We do have units that are using PayPal. We are working on sending out guidelines to everybody. But in the meantime, again, we are encouraging every unit to have the discussion and everybody to share their experiences and what they believe is the reason that they want to go with these non-traditional routes. And if everybody can agree with that, present it to your members. If your members approve it, you're good to go. Can we use the store to sell tickets to events or raffles? Yes. We do not recommend the use of raffles because they are considered games of chance or gambling. You would have to have a certain, you have to check with your county for a certain type of license. I know we have had some units, even with basket raffles, that have had to work with their communities to file the correct paperwork. I know in my particular school district where I live, basket raffles and those kinds of things are considered gambling and they are not permitted on school property. So that's something that you might want to investigate as well. Let's see. Oh, we welcome Dana Lamb here to help us with MemberHub questions. Thank you, Dana. Is it okay to use Chase Bill Pay quickly, Chase Quick Pay again, and Zelle, all of those platforms? Again, we are working on the guidance. We don't have it ready yet. I apologize. I was hoping that we could have it done by the end of the summer, but it's not looking too good right now. So again, we're reaching back to your units to let them know that you can make that decision yourselves, and again, have it approved by your members. Okay. We have covered all of the questions. So one of the things that you can do, and I apologize if Sonia covered it, but if you go onto your unit page at the bottom where it talks about your unit, you can see how you're set up right now in the idea of the know your customer part. And Dana Lamb, you can, if you wouldn't mind helping me with that, if you go on to MemberHub and look at your unit page, all the information there is at the bottom. It tells you who the owner is of your account, the owner, we talked about that. If that needs to be updated, then, you know, if that person is no longer your treasurer or no longer affiliated as an officer, you can go ahead and start the process to update that. But that's where you can find that information. Yes, I will confirm in writing, but somebody is asking about the state payments, if they're the same this year as they were last year. Yes, we have not made any adjustments. We are continuing on the same MemberHub platform. As an example of a bundled membership, again, you would take what you would look at your bylaws. So again, if you charge $10 for a standard member, and then $5 for an additional member, you can bundle those two together because usually the standard member is one spouse, and the additional member is the second spouse. So if you bundle those together at $15, each of the people would get a membership card, and you could call that, you know, a family membership. You can add students. Students are eligible to be members in any PTA, anytime, any age. There's no minimum age to be a PTA member. So again, they would be considered additional family members. So if you had a $10 membership for the standard, and you had $5 for additional, and you have 2 children you want to register for $20, you can bundle that to a membership, 2 adults, 2 children, or 2 students, I guess you would call them, and you could put that up on MemberHub for $20. Now, some units have a student membership price that's different, and that's, again, you just bundle as you feel like what is consistent with how your members join, or you want to encourage your members to join. Okay.
It's making me blushing.
Yeah.
Because everybody's hungry.
Yeah, so paying dues to New York State is a separate system. So it's an e-check system. It just happens to be managed by WePay. But again, it isn't part of your WePay merchant processing agreement and that system that Sonia outlined for you. WePay just connects your bank through the Plaid. That was the thing that we talked about. So WePay works with Plaid. So Plaid is actually the one that's connecting your bank account with New York State PTA. Okay, so Rob is telling me, my host Rob is telling me our time is just about up. So we will try to answer some of these questions, newer questions that might have come in. I thought I was at the bottom. Anyway, once again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. This is a first for all of us, and we hope you enjoyed it. Based on the response, we don't think it'll be the last, and we hope that on behalf of New York State PTA, you keep track of some of our announcements. We are going to be continuing our web chats and our webinars for all of our PTA members and leaders. They're going to be happening at least twice a month, so you're welcome to join in on any of those, and we're always open for you to suggest some topics for us. So we're always happy to reach out to our members to help them in the best way we can. So I am going to be in this room for one more workshop, and we're just going to be talking about general treasurer topics. So I look forward to seeing some of you stay, but if some of you are signing off to go off to another workshop, I wish you well. And don't forget to stay for the mental health presentation at the end, followed by our attendee prizes. Not exactly door prizes because you're all at home. So thank you. And Rob's going to finish us out here by turning the recording off for this, and then we'll restart again for our next. So enjoy the rest of the day, everyone. Okay. So I should mute now.